1 out of 3 girls in the United States is sexually molested, and 1 in 6 boys in the United States is sexually molested, and 50% of transgender folks. Hi, my name is Katusha, your sex coach. Today we are talking about psychology of female sexuality and what blocks her pleasure. Before we begin, please consider to subscribe, like it, and let's dive in. Lots of women don't allow themselves to feel pleasure in bed. Why does this happen? Number 1, limiting beliefs. For example, sex is dirty, sex is dangerous, sex is the road to hell, women are inferior, things like that. How do they form? As we are being brought up, they get passed on to us from our primary caretakers and from the society at large. How does this play out in bed? For example, a woman is about to have sex with her partner and she's getting turned on, but all of a sudden she freezes. Something happened to her and she cannot allow the pleasure flow throughout her body because this thought comes into her head. Oh, you're about to have pleasure, hold on, it might be dangerous. It is dangerous, in fact. If you allow yourself to have pleasure, you will die, right? That's what's going on in the psyche. In a way, this thought or pattern or this personality, sub-personality is trying to protect you from death, right? It's on your side, but is it really serving you in the present moment? No. So we need to talk to that sub-personality. No, sex is actually the most pleasurable thing on earth. And sex is actually very healthy. So you need to rewrite and reintroduce yourself to what sex can be. Number 2, traumas and habit pattern inside the body. It can be on a spectrum. It can be something from a little girl is masturbating on the couch, about 8-10 years old. Children are sexual. Please remember yourself or remember the folks around you, maybe children in kindergarten. They're not sexual in a way that they're engaging with adults. They cannot be. That's called carnal knowledge, and that traumatizes a person. But children are curious about what's going on. They touch their genitals. They are aware that it's pleasant. They explore. So I've heard this story many times and from friends of mine as well. So this girl, she's 8-10 years old. She's sitting on the couch and touching herself. Her mother walks in and starts yelling at her at the top of her lungs. What are you doing, little whore? You're gonna die from AIDS. If I see you do this one more time, I'm gonna kick you out of the house. Now what happens? The girl is shivering, she is petrified. So she just learned that sexuality is dangerous. And if she engages in it again, she will lose her mother, the love of her mother, her primary caretaker. For a child, it means I will not survive, I will be dead. What happens after? She disowns that part of herself. They call it lost part, lost self. It goes into your subconscious mind. It then becomes unconscious. And then every time when this woman grows up and she tries to have sex, something's blocking her. She tries to avoid physical contact because her body shattered. So it was, she got so scared of her mom screaming that it wasn't just the cortical reality, just hearing a story at the sex bed. It got imprinted in her limbic, in her primal brain. So that's much more serious. And then, of course, we have cases where children are exposed to carnal knowledge, right? Being sexually assaulted before the age of consent. So it's even more serious. When this happened to people, to boys and girls, by the way, 1 out of 3 girls in the United States is sexually molested, and 1 in 6 boys in the United States is sexually molested, and 50% of transgender folks have been sexually molested in their childhood. So what happens to these people? Either you get stuck in that sexual mode when you're being touched by an adult, or when you're being penetrated by an adult, or you've been asked to touch their genitals, and so when you grow up, you become hypersexual. You kind of get stuck in that sexual mode, or you again close it off and you're petrified of someone touching you, or you form perversions. So many people who have been sexually abused in their childhood actually perpetuate that pattern of it's like they adopt that parasite and they keep on carrying that parasite and keep abusing and molesting other children. So I'd like to say that the work that we are doing, people like me, dealing with these problems, trauma therapists, There are trauma therapists who focus specifically on sexual traumas. It is possible to rewire your brain to create new neuronal networks in your brain. So not just because that story like, oh, it's okay, sex is safe. In those severe cases, changing the story is not enough, right? You have to go all the way deep to those layers of the psyche where your body feels safe engaging in sexual activities. My darlings, women and men, it is possible to retrieve those lost parts of our psyche. It is not only safe, but this is your life purpose, to thrive and enjoy life. I love you. I will see you in my next video. Please like it, subscribe, share it, and till soon.